I know you're a pilot and you love that.
I do.
What do you take to your life from being a pilot? I mean, you have to do all these checklists and things.
Yes.
Do you use some of that in your life?
I believe 150% in checklists for everything. Whether you're going to drive a car, you checklist the tires, the battery, the oil, the thing. Checklists for everything. A house operation. Where things, the supplies are. Is everything working? The air conditioning thing. I think there's no place in the world that doesn't need a checklist, because checklists are valid anywhere. Now, in aviation, they are life and death. They're not so much life and death, but they will cause you such annoyance if you're not organized. So I'm all about checklists.
What are you most proud of in life?
My kids. You know, I'm proud of how smart they are and how filled with life they are. They're pretty amazing kids.
What about entrepreneurs? Now, I know you're an entrepreneur. What advice would you give to somebody jumping into business for the first time, becoming an entrepreneur?
I would say always define the valuable final product for the person you're pitching it to. If you can define that, everything else follows. Success, money, whatever it is. But you must define what your product is that will be valuable to another. And if you do that, you're halfway there. Money follows normally. But if you go just to make money, I've tried to tell young people, go become a banker if you like looking at monies. But you know, you have to be free to create ideas for valuable final products, and then you have to pitch them so someone sees what your vision is, and then it happens.
What is the one thing that you're most proud of out of your life's work?
My only fear I ever had, I didn't have a mother after 7, and my only fear I ever had was not being prepared for a great opportunity. And I always worked so hard, and I said if I don't have a mother, I'll let music be my mother, and worked very hard to have my craft together, and studied, you know, with Paris and Marie Boulanger and go all the way. You know.
What are you most proud of today?
Everything.
Just your life
7 decades, man.
Yeah.
It's a long stuff, and I thank God that I'm still on the path. And they say, what do you think about comebacks? I said, if you never go away and grow as you go, you don't have to make a comeback if you don't go away.
You're here at the City Gala event. I know that you're very much a humanitarian. You spend a lot of time and life energy trying to help others.
That's right.
Maybe you could talk about your philosophy a little bit.
You betcha. I started out with absolutely nothing. Actually, I grew up in the Boyle Heights, East LA, Echo Park area. And what happens is, as time goes on, when you start getting some things, it makes you feel good, but if you start giving it out to help other people, it makes you feel better. If I could give you an example of this, please, okay? Yeah. At 6 years old, we had nothing in my family. They used to have trolley cars in LA. I'm older than you are. We came to downtown LA at Christmas, and I was 6 years old. This would be 1951. And they had all these things in the windows. Used to be a lot of department stores down there, like little trains and cars and all that. And my mom gave my brother and I a dime and said, boys, hold half of it each and go put in the bucket of that guy ringing the bell, and we did. I said, Mom, why we give him a dime? That's, in those days, it was 2 big soda pops, 3 candy bars. She says, sons, that's the Salvation Army. They take care of people who don't have any food or place to live. And remember, in life, there's always someone needs something more than you. And she said, all we could afford is a dime this year, because we didn't have any money, right? But give a little something. Well, that always stuck with me. And a bigger thing that people should know is this: whenever you do something for somebody else and you ask nothing in return, nothing, it's the greatest high you will ever have. And I'm a child of the 60s. It's the greatest high you'll ever have, doing something for someone else, asking you nothing in return.
I'm a child of the 60s too, so I get it.
Yeah, well, you must have been really young in the 60s, man.
I was born in 60. So, but you know, I love your spirit. I love how you go about what you do. You're one of the honest to goodness guys that really, you can tell right to the heart that he really means what he says. And that's such a rare thing. What does your word mean to you?
Well, to me, it would mean everything. Every business agreement I've ever made, I have kept. Even when it cost me a lot of money and I should have done it, I did it. So I think that's even more important because people believe in you and they know that, wow, this guy's going to come through even when things suck. This guy's going to come through, man, and I did, many times. But that's your word's important. People should know that more today. They write contracts and hell, they try and get out of them. It's stupid. Your word should be, if you have some on paper, that's good, but your word should be it.
What's most important to you in life right now?
The most important thing in life to me right now is that my family is happy, healthy, along with the rest of our planet, and even more important, that I could continue to do things, seriously, that affect millions of people. Now, we hire thousands of people in all of our companies, which is great, gives more jobs. We just want to continue to create more companies, more jobs, at the same time, do something good for a lot of people and put them on their feet. Don't just give them money, give them something to do so they can take care of themselves.
JP, thank you very much. Thanks for being you.
Oh, of course, man. Thank you.
Thanks. Do you love being an entrepreneur?
I do like giving people things that mostly as an entrepreneur, I like to give people things that they can't get other places, new things that I think they need. I think there's always a white space. There's always something humanity needs or people need that will change their lives for the better. And I think that's what businesses should do. They should, fill white spaces or voids for people and give them things. And it's nice to give them, if they don't have enough of something, to follow into a business that's already providing a service or a gift. But I do believe it, creative entrepreneurship is a really fun thing, but there's so much people don't have, as opposed to, and that's what good entrepreneurs a lot of times are, people who give people things that they didn't have before. Right?
How did you get your start? What did you use? Was there a drive that you had where you just, I'm going to go out and make something happen? What was it like back in the day?
Well, it's always an inspiration. I mean, you learn first time and you fall in love with something and no one has it and you give it to them. I'm not everyone, but that's what I did. With the music, I loved what it was and I thought everybody should have it, and I went out and figured out ways to sell it and give it to people. I think that's a drive, to love your product, to love what you're giving, and to give what you want to receive. If you love something, it's really so much easier to sell it than if you don't. And if you don't love it, then you should probably get out of it.
Absolutely. What is your one tip for a young entrepreneur getting into business these days? And people, they're so afraid to just make the jump.
Go out there and make it, and you don't fail. First of all, you can't fail until you quit. But you should go out and have a little courage and just give what you love. And sometimes the margins may not be written into the business the way you hope they are, the way some other margins are. But if it's something you love and you want to give it to people, you'll figure that out.
What are you most proud of, Russell?
I don't know, mostly the social and political kind of gains that I've been part of. Things changing the drug laws in New York State or things like that really inspire me. And I think that's what, being an entrepreneur has turned me, into a more of a catalyst for other people's dreams. And that to me is whenever I'm able to make some change or support some effort that makes a difference for people in their lives, even if it is just, giving a bunch of poets or comedians or artists a chance to express themselves, just the way I view it today is, and I think that the core needs that people have when you're able to really affect them, that's really great. I mean, the idea is to promote happiness for others. That's all anybody's here for. And so freedom and happiness is key, and sometimes they're core essential ingredients to that process that to making people more free and happier, that when you're able to touch those things, it's even greater than some of the entertainment stuff.